Alright, legends, welcome along to Hellmouth Hotline. I'm your host, Rodney Stewart, and we're going to be talking about the 2008 remake for Halloween. And yes, this is a fairly different take on the movie, and a very good one. I enjoyed this just as much as the original. Yes, let me see. I'm just looking at some of the notes I've got for it here. Of course, it's directed by Rob Zombie. We have Malcolm McDowell in here as Dr. Sam Loomis, and the adult version of Michael Myers in this one. Taylor Maine is great. This man is absolutely huge, massive dude. Yes, and this one, it's working from Carpenter's advice to make the film his own. Zombie chose to develop the film as both an original story and a remake, allowing for more original content than simply refilming the same scenes, which is fantastic. Like the way they delve into Michael Myers' character in this one is a lot deeper than what the original one was. It had mixed reviews. The film cost $15 million to make, but it went on to gross $80.4 million worldwide. Yes, these movies are an absolute cash cow. So yeah, the plot of the movie essentially is in Halloween in Haddonfield, Illinois. Michael Myers, the child Michael Myers, has exhibited signs of psychopathic tendencies. He's 10 years old, and he murders school bully Wesley Rhodes. Then he goes home that evening and murders his older sister Judith, her boyfriend Stephen Haley, and his mother's abusive boyfriend Ronnie White, just out of sheer revenge. There is for me watching this, the family that he comes from, you don't feel much sympathy for a lot of them. The father, stepfather, treated this kid nasty, treated Michael's mother really bad, and his older sister incredibly nasty. It was just a nasty piece of work all around this guy, and just that atmosphere that Michael came from, it kind of gives you more understanding of why he is the way he is, but it doesn't forgive anything that he does, but it kind of gives you more of that inside look to his personality. Yeah, so he murders everyone. The mask, the classic Michael Myers, Captain Kirk mask, let's just say, appears very early in the film, and it's his sister's boyfriend actually has the mask, and he is using it. Of course, it's Halloween. The kid Michael wants to go trick or treating, but Judith decides to not take him. Michael's mother is working as a stripper at this stage. He's gone out for evenings work, and Michael goes off in one and kills everyone. But the boyfriend, the classic thing is in these old horror movies, of course this is based on one of the classic old horror movies, is, if somebody's getting it on in the movie, they're going to die very soon. So his sister and the boyfriend are in the bedroom. He pulls out this mask and pulls it on, and it is the classic Michael Myers mask. So we play back to that later on. So it gives you the origin of the mask in this movie as well, where he actually gets it from and why he starts to eventually use it. So he's found guilty of first degree murder after one of the longest trials in the state's history, like 11 months or something. He's sent to Smith's Grove Sanitarium under the care of child psychologist Dr. Samuel Loomis, uh, played fantastically, by the way, in this movie by uh, Malcolm McDowell. And it's one of these characters that you always thought to yourself, could you actually recast him because the original actor was so iconic for it? But works well in the movie. So for the next 15 years, Michael continues making masks. He's making all these little Halloween paper mache masks and stuff, and he's just gradually retreating inside himself and not been as open at the beginning of his incarceration. He's very talkative, but no memory of the night he killed his family. And yes, Loomis continues to treat Michael over the years, but he attempts to move forward with his life and closes Michael's case. Um, his mother came to visit him every week for a long time, and Michael is gradually getting worse and worse and retreating further into himself. And finally, he does indeed snap and kills one of the nurses on the block. He's still a child at this stage. You're talking maybe uh, 11 years old at this point. And his mother can't take what she's just seen. She's always had this faith that he might be able to be cured and come back, but when she sees the actual real split in his personality, it drives her mad. And yes, he has his own little paper mache mask on when he does it, and when he's been restrained, the guards pull the mask off his face, and you can see the evil anger on his face, and this drives his mother. And seeing that night she goes home, she's watching home movies, and turns a gun on herself and ends it. Of course, you hear the kid crying. So the only member of the family is the child that survived the original assault, let's just say, from Michael. So, of course, this ends up in Laurie Strode. She's been adopted by this family. And yes, eventually Michael escapes and comes after her. So, yes, so where are we at in the notes? Loomis, spending 15 years of his life, decides to move on. He closes the case. Michael escapes from Smith's Groove, killing the guards and all the hospital staff. And I have to say, there's a janitor in here that pretty much befriended Michael over the entire time he was here, and he was one of these characters, and the name is escaping me right now. I can't even see it in my notes, but yes, this guy from day one, janitor sort, and he would go past Michael's room and he would stop and he'd talk to him through the bars and whatnot. So it was, this guy felt very close to him. So over the 15 years, when Michael's about to escape, this guy's only like 3 months away from retirement. Michael's killed everyone, and for a moment it seems like this janitor is able to talk him down and he's going to get him into his room and help him out. But Michael turns on him as well, and it is probably in the whole movie, as I say, the original family, like the murder of the family, the older sister is probably the most devastating one, and just in the way that it's done. But this character of the janitor is truly heartbreaking. He's kind of looked at this kid, Michael, as a son almost, and like he's devastated. Like he's, of course, he's getting murdered, and he tries to. If I was good to you, I was good to you, and it's a nasty way to go out. But yes, so we get to the familiar territory now, where it's once again it's Halloween. It's like 15 years or so later. Laurie Strode and her friends Annie Brackett and Lydia Van der Klock are preparing for Halloween, and throughout the day, Laurie witnesses Michael watching her from a distance. Later that night, Linda meets up with her boyfriend Bob at Michael's abandoned home. That's something that I missed out. Michael came back to his old house, and it's played up as like the devil's house in this movie. It's somewhere that's they're having a hard time selling because of its history. And Michael gets in there, breaks up the floorboards, and gets the original knife that he originally killed his family with, and the mask is below the floorboards as well. So we get the classic Michael Myers appearance, and even the boiler suit he steals that off a trucker earlier on too. So it's a classic Michael Myers attire at this point. But yes, so that night, Linda meets up with the boyfriend Bob. Michael's abandoned home. Michael appears, kills him, of course. Yes. He then heads to the Strode home. There, while Laurie is babysitting Tommy Doyle, he murders her parents. So he's going through a lot of people in short order in this movie. Dr. Loomis, having been alerted to Michael's escape, arrives in Haddonfield looking for Michael, and after getting himself a hold of a handgun, Loomis attempts to warn Sheriff Brackett that Michael has returned to Haddonfield. Loomis and Brackett head to the Strode home. Brackett explaining along the way that Laurie is really Michael's baby sister. Of course, as a viewer, we've already gotten this. Having been adopted by the Strodes following their mother's death. After convincing Laurie to babysit Lindsay Wallace while spending time with her boyfriend Paul, Annie is attacked by Michael after he kills Paul at the Wallace residence. Like, I'm really jumping over a lot of stuff here, but it's just in that part of the movie where everybody's skating that little bit of thin ice where they're teenagers and they're trying to have a little bit of fun to themselves. And of course, as soon as you see the clothes coming off, you know somebody's going to die. So yes, that happens twice almost, apart from Annie doesn't get killed, but her boyfriend does. Bringing Lindsay home, Laurie finds Annie badly injured on the floor, but still alive, and she gets on the phone, calls for help. Michael then attacks Laurie, chases her back to the Doyle residence. So at this point in the movie, we're getting a lot of familiar imagery from the original one. I think it's not shot for shot, but it's pretty close. Loomis and Brackett hear the emergency call over the radio when they head towards the Wallace residence. Michael gets hold of Laurie, takes her back to their old home, and he tries to show Laurie that he has his sister, presenting a picture of them with their mother. This picture is one that his mother gave to him when he was 10 or 11 years old, just after he was incarcerated. But yeah, for my money, having watched this film back, it's not really that clear to me how Michael works out that Laurie's actually his sister, because I don't think he would ever have had the information about her being adopted or where she went. Like, he knows she's alive, but he doesn't know where she's at, or he shouldn't know where she's at. And yeah, that's the only part of the film that really doesn't work for me, but it is what it is. So he tries to show her this picture of them, and she doesn't understand, and she lulls him into a false sense of security by saying, she wants to help him, but she stabs Michael with his own knife before escaping the house. Michael chases her down into an empty swimming pool. She falls in there. He's coming in after her, and Loomis turns up and shoots Michael, and down he goes and gets her out of the pool. And then we get that line from Laurie, was that the boogeyman? And Dr. Loomis was, as a matter of fact, it was. And you're kind of expecting the film to finish off there. They're in the police car and whatnot. It's a sort of mirror image ending to the first one, but of course, it's not going to be that way. So, recovering from the gunshots, Michael recaptures Laurie, breaks the police car window, drags her out through it, heads back into the house with her. Loomis intervenes, but Michael subdues him by gouging at his eyes, and he falls to the floor. Now, I can't recall Halloween 2 in this version of the remakes. Like there was only 2 in the series before they rebooted the damn thing again. But I can't recall if Loomis survives the end of this movie. I'm pretty sure that he does. But for now, can't say for definite one way or the other whether he does or not. So he goes down. Laurie gets the gun, runs upstairs. There's a cat and mouse game where he's trying to get hold of her. And Laurie... Michael corners her on the balcony of the house, charges her head on, knocking the both of them over the rail and into the garden. And Laurie wakes up and she's on top of an unconscious Michael. And Laurie aims the gun at Michael, tries to take a shot at him, but the gun's not firing. And she keeps trying and trying, and Michael's hand comes up, grabs her by the wrist, and just at that, the gun is fired, and we cut the black into the credits, and that is the end of the movie. So this is a great little retelling of the movie. Enjoyed it quite a bit, but it's like everything. It's you'll either get a movie or you won't get a movie, and this one here got me for the most part. But the character of Michael Myers is more rounded in this version. I would say you're getting a little bit more of a deeper appreciation for the character and who he is. He's still a psychopath. He's still a head case. But you kind of have a deeper understanding of where he came from. But, it's not to say that forgives anything that he does in the movie, but it gives you a bit more of an insight to where he is, what he is. So I can't recall if I actually went through the money that this thing made. This is the second recording of the podcast because I forgot to hit the record button on the desk before we started, so I had to restart. But yes, John Carpenter gave Rob Zombie the advice to make this film his own, and Zombie chose to develop the film as both an original story and a remake, allowing for more original content and simply refilming the same scenes. Great choice. Had mixed reviews. Cost $15 million to make, but it went on to gross $80.4 million worldwide. Zombie followed the film of a sequel, Halloween 2 in 2009, so we will get into that at some point on the show here. So yes, if you haven't seen it yet, I would highly recommend you check it out, and that's going to do it for this episode. This has been a production of Coins Age Media. Thank you so much for listening.